Are we connected? Yes, we are. Thank you very much, Reverend Lowe, for that one very warm introduction and for the free advertising for my commentary.
多謝盧牧師頭先好熱情嘅介紹，特別係推薦我嘅書。
I'm delighted to be with you for this lecture series. On behalf of my wife, Jan, who's with me here tonight, let me offer my deep appreciation for the hospitality that Professor Reverend Lowe and his staff have provided us, particularly Zoe, who's with him tonight. I'm particularly happy to be here because of the collaborative exchange program that the Elementary School has had with Chongqing for the last several years.
好開心咧，有機會參與呢個講座，咁代表我太太跟好多謝盧牧師同埋佢嘅同事有好熱情嘅款待，亦都咧好開心有機會咧喺呢度，因為咧耶魯同埋中大有呢一個嘅合作，咁學生交換計劃已經有幾年時間。
In this series of lectures, I'll share with you some of the things that I have learned about the Gospel according to John from my work on it over the last decade or so.
喺呢一連串嘅講座裏邊咧，我想將我自己喺過去呢10多年研究約翰嘅發現同大家分享。
Some of you may be familiar with some of that work through a collection of essays published in 2010 by the German publisher Mohr-Siebeck.
有啲人如果睇過喺2010年呢個德國嘅摩恩斯伯出版社出版嘅我嘅論文集咧，你可能會發現其中有啲內容咧，你都係已經知道。
Don't buy that book; it's too expensive.
買本書啊，好貴嘅。
It'll be coming out in English in America soon.
咁啊，係用英文出版，好快就會面世。
Let me begin by putting my interest in the fourth gospel in context.
讓我將我自己對第四福音嗰個興趣放喺一個背景呢度理解。
I've always been fascinated by the gospel according to John. This gospel was an essential part of what formed my theological imagination, and that happened at a very early age.
我一路咧都係對約翰福音好有興趣嘅，而事實上咧，約翰福音亦都係喺我自己早年嗰個嘅神學嘅思想裏邊咧，想像裏邊咧係有好大嘅影響。
My Roman Catholic boyhood took place in the years before the Second Vatican Council, when the Tridentine Mass was still celebrated in Latin.
我係早年嘅時候係一個羅馬天主教徒啦，咁咧當時咧仲係喺梵蒂岡第二次大公會議之前嘅，咁嗰個彌撒咧佢哋舉行嘅時候咧仲係用拉丁文。
Part of that old liturgy was the recitation of the prologue of the Gospel of John at the end of the celebration of the Mass, the last Gospel as we used to call it.
而呢一個禮儀嘅一部分咧，係會喺最後嘅時候咧，就念誦呢一個約翰福音嘅前言，我哋叫佢做咧最後嘅福音。
The poetic cadences of the passage in Latin are embedded in my memory. In principio erat verbum, and verbum erat ad Deum, and Deus erat verbum, etc.
而呢一個拉丁文嗰個嘅前言，好似詩一樣抑揚頓挫，係喺我印象裏邊咧非常深刻。太初有道，道與天主同在，道即天主。
During my collegiate years, I decided that my knowledge of classical languages might be put to use in service of the Church, and that the best way to do that was to become a scholar of the Bible, which we Catholics were taking more seriously in the light of the Second Vatican Council.
當我讀大學嘅時候咧，我決定咧，我嘅對於古典語言嘅知識咧係可以我哋服侍教會，而最好嘅方式咧就係成為一個研究聖經嘅人。咁當時嘅天主教徒咧喺呢一個梵蒂岡第二次大公會議之後咧，開始咧對聖經係非常之嘅重視。
My attention naturally turned to the fourth gospel, and I wanted to study it more deeply. But wise mentors pushed me in other directions, to learn yet more languages, to explore the context of early Christianity, and to engage in other original research.
咁有機會我當然就好想即時就去研究第四個福音，但係咧就 我好有智慧嘅導師咧，就將我引向另外一啲嘅方向，要我學多啲語言啦，學下早期基督教嘅背景啦，同埋咧去做一啲原創嘅研究。
Hence, I wound up writing about the Jewish historian Josephus and his use of Hellenistic historiography.
所以咧，我就最終咧就開始研究呢一個猶太嘅史家約瑟夫，同埋佢點樣運用希臘寫歷史嘅手法。
I edited texts from the Dead Sea Scrolls of Qumran and from the Coptic Gnostic Library of Nag Hammadi, and I finally actually wrote something on the New Testament, a commentary on the Epistle of the Hebrews that Reverend Lowe has called to your attention.
咁咧，我就編輯呢一個嘅死海古卷嘅經文啦，亦都咧編輯呢一個科普文嘅呢一個南夏瑪地嘅呢一個文庫嘅裏邊嘅文章啦，最後亦都終於有機會寫新約嘅事，就係頭先我哋提到嘅呢本希伯來書嘅注釋。
Finally, in my mature scholarly years, I had the opportunity to turn full attention to the study of the fourth gospel, and lo and behold, the territory had changed dramatically from when I first became interested.
咁我積累咗一定嘅經驗之後咧，我終於有機會咧全程投入去研究第四個福音，然後我發現成個環境已經唔同咗。
When I set out to become a New Testament scholar back in the 1970s, a few big ideas dominated the scholarly scene.
當我開始研究新約做一個學者嘅時候咧，嗰陣時係大概1970年代啦。咁當時咧係有幾個好重要嘅思想咧係主導緊成個學術界。
The major presupposition of virtually all New Testament scholars was that the texts that we studied, construed either as the Word of God or as really interesting cultural artifacts, these texts were best understood by placing them in their original contexts in the Mediterranean world of the first century.
當時幾乎所有嘅新約嘅學者咧都接受一個嘅前設，就話咧我哋所研究嘅經文，無論你睇佢係神嘅道，抑或係極有興趣嘅文化嘅產物，最好咧都係將佢放翻喺第一世紀地中海嘅世界去理解。
Understanding the point that these texts were trying to make in that context would provide at least a firm foundation for saying what they might mean in the contemporary scene. Although the process of moving from the first to the 20th and now 21st century might require some attention to the issue of hermeneutics. Or to simplify a bit, how is it that something designed to make a point in the first century might be able to make a point in the 20th?
明白咗呢一點之後咧，我哋至少可以肯定嘅講就話，嗰個經文當時要講嘅係啲乜嘢咧？咁我哋可以有一個比較堅實嘅基礎去講，然後咧，我哋透過一啲嘅解經或者釋經嘅方法咧，就將佢喺20世紀嘅意義咧，做一次嘅演繹出嚟。好簡單嘅嚟講就係話，我哋將最初嘅意思變成今日20世紀嘅意思。
That overarching presupposition of biblical studies generally, usually dubbed the historical critical method, encouraged the interpreter to attend seriously to the context of our ancient texts.
呢個一種支持嘅前設，對於聖經研究嚟講咧，通常係叫做歷史批判法。佢係鼓勵釋經嘅人好留心呢一個古代經文佢嗰個處境。
Scholars had been doing so for quite some time, and there were several competing models of what the appropriate context was for making sense of the fourth gospel.
長期以來咧，學者咧都係用呢種方法嚟去研究，而咧佢哋所用嘅模型咧，要解釋呢一個第四福音咧，佢會有不同嘅。
One set of hypotheses focused on the history of ancient religions and attempted to situate the peculiarity of the fourth gospel in regard to what we knew or thought we knew of that history.
其中一個嘅解說咧係集中睇古代宗教嘅歷史，咁咧嘗試咧將第四福音佢嗰個嘅特色咧放喺呢一個歷史嘅裏邊度睇，以至我哋就在我哋知道或者我哋以為我哋知道當時嗰個情況。
Perhaps the most famous hypothesis hypothesis generated by the history of religion school of New Testament criticism was that the fourth gospel represented a kind of Gnosticism, an interpretation of the life and teachings of Jesus within the context of a cosmic mythology that explained the human condition.
或者最有名嘅一個假説，根據呢一個宗教歷史學派去研究第四福音嘅時候呢，就係認為第四福音代表咗一種嘅諾斯底主義或者叫靈智主義啦。咁呢一個嘅主義咧係嘗試去解釋耶穌基督嘅一生佢嘅言行，而係透過呢一個嘅宇宙嘅神話去解説人嗰個情況。
According to that myth, that Gnostic myth, spiritual sparks from a transcendent world found themselves enmeshed in a realm of material sin and suffering and ignorance.
根據呢個神話咧，佢係咁講嘅話咧，呢一個屬靈嘅火花咧係嚟自呢一個超越嘅世界，但係發覺捲入咗呢一個嘅物質嘅罪同埋苦同埋無知嘅範疇。
Escape from this realm was made possible by attaining knowledge of their true identity as spiritual beings, destined to be restored to a transcendent realm.
要脱離呢一個範疇咧，就必須要有真嘅知識，認識自己個真正嘅身份係屬靈嘅活物，最終咧係要翻到屬靈嘅境界。
That knowledge was brought to humankind by a Redeemer, who was himself redeemed in the process.
呢一種嘅知識咧係由一個嘅救贖者帶俾人，而呢一個救贖者本身喺呢個過程裏邊咧亦都得咗救贖。
The most famous proponent of this theory was Rudolf Bultmann, perhaps the most influential New Testament scholar of the early to mid-20th century.
提出呢一個理論最出名嘅一個人咧，就叫做布特曼，或者係20世紀早期到中期一個最有影響力嘅新約學者。
His version of the theory, contained in his classic commentary on the Gospel, was based in large part on the discovery of new texts from antiquity, the literature of the Mandeans, a sect that survived until the late 20th century in the marshes of southern Iraq, but which is now found mostly in immigrant communities in places like Los Angeles.
布特曼佢嘅理論咧係喺佢嘅好經典嘅注釋。即係約翰嘅注釋，佢寫得好清楚。其實咧係根據當時發現嘅一啲古代嘅文獻，呢一啲叫做萬底安派佢哋嘅作品。呢一派嘅人咧係喺12世紀末期喺呢一個伊拉克南部嘅沼澤嗰度出現嘅。後來咧就已經散居喺世界各地，譬如呢一個洛杉磯。
Their literature, written in the form of Aramaic, dates from late antiquity through the early modern period, but came to the attention of Western scholars in the late 19th century.
呢啲嘅文學作品咧係用亞蘭文寫成嘅，成書嘅時間係由呢一個上古時期，亦至到咧呢一個現代嘅早期，但係喺到19世紀嘅末期咧，學者咧先至留意到佢哋嘅存在。
Bultmann and his predecessors in the history of religion school made the claim that the earliest stages of that literature, the Mandean literature, could be traced back to the 1st century.
布特曼同埋佢嘅前人咧，就認為，即係呢個喺宗教歷史學派裏邊嘅即係早期嘅研究人咧，有一個宣稱就話咧，呢啲文學作品最早期嘅時間咧，可以追溯到去第1世紀。
Bultmann's theory does not have many adherents today. But despite its many problems, it had then and has now impressive explanatory power as a guide to reading the Gospel.
布特曼呢種嘅理論咧，今日已經唔係好多人嚟到即係提倡，但係雖然有好多嘅問題，但係我哋要承認咧係有好能夠解釋好多問題嘅力量，可以幫助我哋咧嚟到去睇呢一個嘅福音書。
Or in other words, while many of its elements are obsolete, some of its insights remain quite valuable.
或者話，雖然裏邊有好多嘅部分都已經過時，但係有一啲嘅洞見咧仍然係好有價值。
Among these is Bultmann's claim that the Gospel is in many ways a revelatory text, framing the message of Jesus as a disclosure of a fundamental truth.
其中一個布特曼 曼嘅宣稱係好有價值，就係話呢個福音書咧喺好多方面嚟睇都係一個啟示性嘅文獻，而透過耶穌基督嘅信息咧去揭示一啲基本嘅真理。
Bultmann was at least partially right on this, but we're getting ahead of ourselves.
奧特曼，我覺得佢有部分都係啱嘅，不過咧我哋太快咧就遺忘咗佢。
The hypothesis that the fourth gospel emerged from a Gnostic matrix has not been supported by developments of the last half century.
四福音書出自呢一個諾斯底嘅模型呢個講法咧，喺上一個世紀嘅後半部咧已經唔係好多人支持。
The most important of these was no doubt the discovery at Nag Hammadi in Upper Egypt of a collection of manuscripts in the Coptic language, providing major new sources for the complex phenomenon known as Gnosticism.
喺上一個世紀嘅後半部咧，一個好重要嘅發現，當然就係喺上埃及呢個納哈馬迪嘅地方所揾到一啲科普文嘅文獻，佢成為一啲新嘅資料俾我哋去認識呢個好複雜嘅諾斯底主義嘅現象。
These new documents do not support the reconstruction of the phenomenon by Bultmann and the History of Religion School.
呢啲嘅文獻咧唔支持布特曼同埋呢一個宗教歷史學派佢哋所提出嘅現象嘅解釋。
And study of the documents, moreover, called into question the kinds of overly simple generalizations about what might be called Gnosticism.
我哋細心去研究呢啲文獻嘅時候，我哋更加會覺得早期對於呢個諾斯底主義嘅解説咧，都係太過簡化。
If the fourth gospel is to be understood in terms of a religio-historical context, Gnosticism now hardly seems to be a likely candidate for that context.
如果要根據呢個宗教歷史嘅背景嚟理解第四福音咧，諾斯底主義咧似乎唔係一個我哋要去特別着重嘅地方。
It's worthwhile to consider two other major examples of the religio-historical model of making sense of the fourth gospel.
喺度我哋都值得提一提另外兩個宗教歷史學派提出嘅重要嘅例子。
One is somewhat lesser known and not quite as influential. It was offered in part as a corrective to Bultmann and trying to do justice to the insights of older scholarship of the 19th century that focused on the theological ideas implied by the gospel.
其中一個例子咧，唔係好多人知道嘅，亦都唔係咁流行嘅。佢係嘗試去修正布特曼一啲嘅觀點，嘗試咧嚟到去肯定翻19世紀一啲學者喺佢研究福音書嘅時候，發現裏邊嗰個嘅神學嘅意念係仍然係值得我哋學習。
I refer to the British scholar C.H. Dodd in his interpretation of the fourth gospel.
我想講嘅係呢一個英國嘅學者圖德，佢喺所寫嘅第四福音書解釋。
Dodd looked not to Eastern religious and mythological traditions, but to Hellenistic religious wisdom, more particularly the Corpus Hermeticum, a syncretistic collection combining elements of popular Platonism and Stoicism with the trappings of Egyptian religious tradition.
圖德咧冇嘗試喺呢個東方嘅宗教同埋神話嘅傳統裏邊咧做功夫，反而咧佢係着重睇希臘嘅宗教智慧。尤其是係一個叫做希米爾文集，係一個結合咗坊間柏拉圖主義、堅忍派同埋埃及宗教傳統色彩嘅一個嘅文學集成。
The Hermetic literature written in Greek from the 2nd to the 4th centuries of the Common Era offered some intriguing parallels to elements of the fourth gospel, including, for instance, a treatise, Corpus Hermeticum 13, on being born again, analogous to the striking claim about what Jesus offered to Nicodemus in John 3.
呢一個希爾米文獻咧係用希臘文寫成嘅，成書時間大概係公元第2到第4個世紀。佢提出咗一啲或者喺裏邊有一啲嘢人聯想嘅相似嘅地方，同呢個第四福音係有啲地方係相似嘅。譬如有一個嘅文章，呢一個希爾米。呢一個文集第13裏邊提到有重生嘅意念，似乎同約翰福音第3章耶穌同尼哥底母提講嘅呢個主題咧係相似。
A much more influential alternative for situating the
選擇，係用呢個宗教歷史嘅模型去認識第四福音嘅咧，係呢一個嘅猶太教嘅門派，特別係嗰啲帶有啟示色彩嘅呢一個嘅門派咧，係一個好惹人注意嘅現象。
Another major discovery of ancient manuscripts in the caves around the site of Qumran on the shores of the Dead Sea provided the impetus for this reconstruction.
另一個古舊抄本嘅發現，呢個昆蘭死海古卷嘅發現，更加推動咗呢方面嘅研究。
Particularly striking to many scholars were the similarities and the sharp dualisms of the Gospel and the scrolls, particularly the major scrolls such as the Community Rule, the Sarakayaka, or the War Scroll.
尤其是學者又覺得，尤其是令人哋注意嘅咧，係裏邊嗰一種好鮮明嘅二元色彩，同呢一個福音書係好近嘅。譬如喺呢啲主要嘅作品，呢一個社團守則啦，同埋呢個戰卷嘅裏邊咧，都有呢一種咁樣嘅二元嘅色彩。
Both spoke of a contrast between light and darkness, truth and falsehood. Both seemed to have a strong conviction that the world was firmly governed by divine decree, that the divine determination was manifested in prophetic writings, and both tended to define communities of believers in strict terms.
兩個作品即係第四福音同埋呢啲嘅死海古卷咧，都有好強烈嘅對比，譬如呢個光同埋暗、真理同埋虛假啦，兩者都係好相信世界咧喺呢一個神嘅旨意掌管之下，而神亦都係定義顯示佢嘅旨意咧，係透過呢啲嘅先知作品。兩者亦都同樣咧係對呢個信徒嘅群體咧有好嚴格嘅要求。
The Dead Sea Scrolls, particularly a text called the Songs of the Sabbath Sacrifice, also provided evidence of a kind of mystical Judaism, which promised access to a heavenly reality in which visionaries would become transformed and in which they would participate like angels.
呢啲嘅死海古卷特別係一個作品叫做安息日祭禮歌咧，提供咗一啲嘅資料俾我哋認識一種好有神秘色彩嘅猶太教。呢、個嘅作品應許人有機會咧係上到天上，而呢個嘅嗰啲有看見嘅人咧可以得着改變，成為好似天使一樣。
While the Dead Sea Scrolls provided numerous intriguing parallels to features of the Gospel, the attempt to understand the Gospel against their background left many features of the text unexplained.
雖然呢個死海古卷咧提供咗好多好有趣嘅對比，去解釋福音書裏邊一啲嘅現象，但係咁樣去理解福音書咧，仍然有好多嘅問題咧係未被解答嘅。
For all their conceptual parallels, the scrolls do not tell the tale of a miracle-working figure who makes outrageous claims, suffers an ignominious death, and is experienced anew by his followers after that death.
雖然佢哋呢個兩者有好多喺觀念上面好相近嘅地方，但係呢啲嘅古死海古卷咧係冇講到有一個行神蹟嘅人作出好驚人嘅宣稱，最後受辱而死，而死後又再一次復活，同佢嘅呢一個嘅跟隨者再會。
What I've sketched so far, however briefly, constitutes one form of the effort of historical criticism to understand the text of the Gospel by understanding its context.
講咗咁多咧，雖然係好簡略嘅，只不過係介紹呢個歷史批判法，嘗試將經文放喺處境裏邊去理解嘅一個做法。
The learned scholarship of the last century that pursued this big idea has left a lasting legacy.
呢啲學者佢哋喺過去一個世紀佢哋所有嘅高見咧，其實留下咗影響好深遠嘅遺產。
Features of Gnostic literature, of popular Hellenistic religiosity, and of the literature of sectarian Judaism all provide informative parallels to one or another feature of the fourth Gospel. But reading the Gospel with these religious intertexts in view has left too many loose ends, has missed too much of what seems to be going on in the text of the gospel itself.
諾斯底文學佢嘅特色，包括其他啲嘅流行嘅希臘嘅宗教、猶太教嘅門派嘅文學，都提供咗一啲好有意思嘅對比，幫助我哋明白第四福音一啲嘅特色。但係如果單係用呢一啲嘅文本去到理解福音書，仍然會有好多懸而未決嘅問題咧，係需要回答。亦都好多時候咧，過分忽略咗呢一個福音書本身佢嗰個嘅信息。
Situating the gospel in religio-historical terms is one major form of the historical critical impulse, but it's not the only version of the contextualizing approach to the gospel.
將呢個福音書放喺宗教歷史嘅背景去理解，只係其中呢一種因為強調歷史批判法而有嘅結果。另外一個版本咧係仍然可有人係使用嘅。
Another major version of the approach that has had a lasting impact on the scholarship of the last half-century has been the attempt to use the insights and tools of the social sciences to provide a social context for the gospel.
另外一個有人使用好重要嘅版本或者好重要嘅方法咧，亦都係同呢個歷史研究法有關嘅咧。喺過去呢半個世紀咧，亦都係影響緊我哋。就係嘗試使用社會科學佢哋嘅睇見同埋工具嚟到去為第四福音提供一個社會背景嘅理解。
This impulse has taken two major forms, one framed more in terms of social history, the other more attuned to some of the theoretical models deployed by contemporary social scientists.
呢種嘅做法有兩種嘅形式，一種嘅形式係着重嗰個社會歷史去理解第四福音，另外一個咧係用今日社會科學家佢哋所用嘅理論模型去到解釋第四福音裏面嘅現象。
The first approach, exemplified in the scholarship of Wayne Meeks and Louis Martin, focuses on an aspect of the community supposed to be behind the gospel, that which bears some resemblance to the situation of the community of the Dead Sea Scrolls.
第一種嘅方式咧係以呢一個 Wayne Meeks 同埋呢一個 Louis Martin 做代表嘅，佢哋集中係睇呢一個福音書背後嘅社團，而呢一個社團咧喺好多方面同寫開古卷嘅社團咧都係好相似。
What stands out for these scholars, who take a cue from Weber's distinction between sect and church, is the sectarian character of the gospel.
呢兩位學者咧，佢哋係由韋伯佢所做嘅一個分別，門派同教會呢個嘅分別咧，得到啟發，就睇到咧喺呢個福音書裏邊咧係有一種門派嘅味道。
What they see is an effort to define a community of believers over against a larger whole, in part through the mechanism of increasingly extravagant claims about Jesus.
佢哋睇到嘅係有人嘗試去定義一個信徒群體，而呢個定義咧同埋整體嘅社群咧係相對嘅，以至到佢哋好多時都會作出一啲好誇張嘅宣稱。
Louis Martin is perhaps the best known proponent of this approach. Coming to the gospel as a witness to social history, Martin looks behind the surface of the text to uncover the experiences of the people who put the story together.
馬田或者就係一個呢方面好有名嘅人，佢咧就用呢一個社會歷史嘅角度去睇福音書背後其實係一班人一班點樣嘅人將呢一個福音書寫成。
As he reads it, the gospel tells two stories. One of the Galilean prophet, who is, of course, more than a prophet, and the other of the history of his followers.
佢睇呢個福音書嘅時候咧，就發現到福音書其實有兩重嘅故事，一個咧係一個加利利先知，當然呢位先知唔單止係一個先知啦，佢嘅故事；另外一個咧就係佢嘅跟隨者嘅故事。
This latter story is read into or out of, depending on your point of view, the accounts of Jesus himself.
呢一個嘅後者嘅故事，一個社群 時咧，或者將佢哋嘅意思讀入咗耶穌呢個記載，係點睇亦都可以話咧，佢哋根據耶穌呢個記載讀出咗佢哋嘅意思。
The text is a kind of palimpsest with at least two significant layers of evidence.
呢個經文咧有啲似係一個重寫稿，至少咧有兩重嘅呢個意思。
The major clues to this phenomenon are the references to expulsion from the synagogue in John 9, 12, and 16.
提示有呢種現象嘅咧，係福音書裏邊咧提到被趕出會堂呢一個現象。
Martin properly argues that such an event is unlikely within the framework of the ministry of Jesus, but was probably part of the experience of his disciples a generation or two after his death.
馬田認為呢一種咁樣嘅事咧，喺耶穌嘅時代咧應該係唔會發生，相信咧係喺耶穌死後一兩代嘅門徒先至有嘅經歷。
Similarly, anachronistic would be the engagement with Samaritans, recounted in the story of the woman at the well in John 4.
同樣出現呢一個時代錯字嘅記載咧，就係呢個同撒瑪利亞人嗰個接觸嘅故事。就第4章呢個撒瑪利亞婦人喺井旁呢個故事。
The judgment that the story is anachronistic is based on the testimony of the Synoptic Gospels and Acts, which together report that Jesus avoided Samaria during his ministry, Matthew 10, and that the area supplied adherence to his movement after his death, Acts 8.
作出呢一個咁樣嘅判斷，認為呢個故事係時代錯字嘅咧，係根據對觀福音同埋使徒行傳嗰個嘅見證，兩者都講到咧，耶穌係避免喺佢嘅工作裏邊咧同撒瑪利亞有接觸嘅，呢一個喺馬太福音第10章，而咧喺使徒行傳第8章亦都講到咧，即係佢耶穌死後佢嘅門徒後期咧先至有呢個咁樣嘅活動。
Martin not only sees the gospel text as a palimpsest, but even confidently pinpoints the time at which the expulsion from the synagogue occurred, namely the time of the so-called Council of Jamnia, or Yavne, conventionally dated to the last decade of the 1st century.
馬田唔單止認為呢一個福音書係一個重寫稿，甚至咧滿懷信心咁樣指出咧，呢一個被趕出會堂嘅時間咧，極有可能咧係喺呢一個所謂雅密尼嘅會議或者雅夫尼呢一個嘅會議呢個時間，相信咧係喺第1世紀嘅最後10年。
He suggests that at that time, the Jewish prayer of the Birkat Haminim, the blessing, which is really a curse on heretics, was added to the daily prayer known as the Amidah or 18 benedictions.
佢咁樣嚟到建議啊嘛，喺嗰個時間咧，猶太人嘅禱文呢個嘅下面咧，或者祝福，其實係就助呢啲異端分子咧，係加入咗呢一個日常嘅禱文，呢個所謂立禱詞或者呢個18祝福嘅。
Martin's reading of the Gospel explains many of its features as a result of the interaction of a small, beleaguered group of Jewish followers of Jesus who find themselves increasingly at odds with their Jewish contemporaries.
馬田對呢個福音書嘅解讀咧，係解釋咗好多書裏邊嘅一啲嘅現象，俾我哋睇到一個被困嘅一班猶太嘅跟隨者，跟隨耶穌基督嘅人咧，佢哋發覺自己同埋當代猶太人係格格不入。
The Gospel articulates their claims, the claims of these believers, about the extraordinary status of Jesus, and at the same time hints at the response to those claims by the Jewish other.
呢個福音書講出咗呢一班人佢哋對耶穌嘅一啲嘅信念，同一個時間亦都講出咗周圍嘅猶太人對於呢啲嘅宣稱嘅反應。
Rejection of the claims only reinforced and deepened the convictions of the followers of Jesus, who also sought to explain the fact of rejection by attributing it to divine predestination or diabolical manipulation of the Jewish other.
周圍嘅人排斥呢一啲嘅信徒，佢哋嗰個嘅信念，就更加強化咗佢哋嗰個嘅堅心跟隨耶穌嘅心志，同時都解釋咗佢哋呢一種 被拒絕，其實係同神嘅預定同埋呢一個惡者嗰個嘅操控咧係有關。
This social historical contextualizing of John has won widespread approbation, even if some elements of it, such as the reconstruction of the role of the Birkat HaMinim, have been subject to serious criticism.
呢一種將嗰個社會歷史嘅背景重現嘅做法咧，係贏得好多人嘅讚賞。儘管其中一啲嘅部分，譬如有關呢一個嘅下面呢一個咁樣嘅古文嗰個情況咧，係被人哋嚴厲嘅批判。
The gospel does seem to allude to events that took place after the death and resurrection of Jesus. There are anachronistic touches to the story. But is the gospel nothing more than a kind of historical allegory, tracing the history of Jesus' followers?
第四福音確實咧係有暗暗嘅提到耶穌基督死而復活之後所發生嘅事，亦都有一啲時代錯置嘅一啲嘅情況浮現出嚟。但係呢一個福音書係咪僅只不過係一種嘅歷史嘅寓言故事，交代耶穌基督跟隨者嘅歷史咧？
While Martin never made that bold and comprehensive claim, it is a possible implication of his approach, and one that leaves many readers of the gospel ill at ease.
當然啦，馬田咧其實就冇作過咁大膽同埋廣泛嘅一個聲明，但係佢嗰個方法有呢個含義咧，確實會令人覺得有啲唔係好安樂。
Another form of contextual reading of the gospel in social scientific terms is found in those scholars who have applied analytic categories of social analysis to the reading of text.
另外一種嘅用呢一個社會科學方法去睇福音書嘅背景嘅咧，係喺一啲嘅學者，我哋睇到佢哋運用社會分析嘅方法嚟到去睇呢個經文。
These readings tend to be less historically specific than the kind of reading espoused by Martin in terms of his sectarian history.
呢啲嘅做法咧，冇馬田嗰一種咧，同門派嘅歷史扣得咁緊嘅。
Instead, the works of such scholars as Jerome Nere and Bruce Molina highlight the categories of honor and shame that pervaded Mediterranean society in antiquity, or the social patterns of patron and client that govern social interactions among individuals and social groups throughout the region.
啲嘅學者，譬如呢一個內尼啦，同埋呢個馬連納咧，佢哋會比較着重突出喺呢一個上古時代地中海社會流行嘅一啲榮辱觀啦，同埋呢一個保從社會嘅關係咧，呢啲影響緊當時呢啲嘅社群嗰個生活嘅一啲現象。
Like all the other efforts to pursue the goal of putting the gospel in its proper first century context, this approach too has been productive of new insights.
佢好似其他嘗試將福音書放喺第一世紀嘅處境去理解一樣啦。呢一種社會科學方法咧，都係帶俾我哋好多新嘅體驗。
The pervasive presence of the categories of honor and shame is certainly the background against which the Gospels play on the glory of the crucifixion of Jesus is to be understood.
呢種廣泛流傳嘅榮辱觀咧，當然係福音書其中一個背景啦，特別係佢提到耶穌基督嗰個即係十字架佢嗰個嘅榮耀同埋呢一方面嘅問題。
The exaltation of the prophet king from Galilee on the wood of a Roman cross flies in the face of the dominant cultural categories and challenges them at a fundamental level.
高舉一個嚟自加利利嘅先知王，但係呢一個王同時係掛身喺羅馬嘅十字架上面嘅人，公然就違反咗當時流行嘅文化嘅類別，亦都係挑戰當時呢一個文化。
The examples of that sketch here should be enough to call to mind to all of us what you may already know, that the historical critical paradigm for understanding the fourth gospel has been developed in a wide variety of ways.
頭先所引述好多唔同嘅例子咧，相信都足以令大家想起一啲可能你早已經知道嘅事，就係呢一個歷史批判嘅模型係點樣幫助我哋從唔同嘅角度去睇 第四個福音書。
The tree founded in the Enlightenment in Europe has developed numerous thick branches, each of which has contributed some new measure of insight to the text.
呢一棵喺歐洲啟蒙時代已經種落嘅大樹，長出咗好多好粗壯嘅樹枝，而每一支嘅樹枝都結出唔同嘅果子，幫助我哋從唔同嘅角度去睇到經文嘅意思。
Each branch has borne fruit, but each has also missed something about the text, and so it will no doubt ever be with whatever approach we take.
每一個樹枝都結有果子，但係同一個時間，每一棵嘅樹枝亦都忽略咗經文嘅一部分。其實每一個嘅方法都會係有咁樣嘅情況。
While not wanting to suggest that another model of interpretation will provide some sort of definitive insight into the gospel, I do want to call attention to another approach that has garnered a good deal of attention in recent years.
喺度唔係嘗試提出另外一個嘅解説嘅模式，或者係可以一錘定音嘅嚟到作為福音書嘅解釋，但係我確係希望喺下邊介紹另外一個嘅做法，係近年得到人嘅注意嘅。
If the first general approach, the first big idea, was premised on the assumption that there is no text without a context, that is relevant to our effort to understand the text, the newer model begins with the premise that the text itself has features that demand attention.
如果先前提到呢一種嘅廣泛嘅方法，佢嘅假設就係話，如果冇咗背景咧，我哋就冇辦法去明白呢一個經文嘅話咧，呢一個新嘅方法、新嘅模型咧，佢開始嘅時候有一個假設就係話，呢個經文本身佢好多嘅地方都需要我哋細心嘅研究。
Before the gospel is a witness to religio-historical developments, before it is a batch of evidence of the social history of a religious community, before it is a window into cultural values of antiquity, it is first and foremost a work of literature.
喺呢個福音書未係宗教歷史發展嘅證人，喺呢個福音書未係一批去證明第一世紀嘅社會呢個社群嗰個歷史嘅證據或者資料之前，喺福音書仲未係一個嘅窗口，讓我哋睇見古代呢一個文化價值之前，福音書首先係一個文學作品。
Hence, it behooves those of us who want to interpret the gospel to attend to it as literature.
因此，如果有人有心去認識呢個解説呢個福音，我哋就必要去以文學嘅角度睇呢個福音書。
One might object that previous biblical scholarship did indeed attend to the literary qualities of the gospel, that it did take account of the formal literary features of the text.
或者有人會話，以前嘅學者佢哋都有留意到福音書呢種文學嘅性質，亦都有留意到呢個福音書表面嗰啲嘅文學嘅特色。
It is certainly true that Bultmann, for instance, was attentive to the formal characteristics of the gospel, although his analysis, like that of many other critics in the 20th century, focused on the historical development of these formal features of the text of the gospel.
冇錯，布特曼舉一個例，佢係有留意到福音書嘅表面嘅一啲嘅特色，但係佢嘅解釋就好似其他好多20世紀嘅學者一樣，集中睇呢一個福音書嘅經文佢嗰個歷史發展。
Struck, that is, by difficulties in the flow of the narrative or tensions within the text, Bultmann famously developed a theory about the composition of the gospel that began as a collection of miracle stories, a sign source, that was expanded by the addition of a collection of discourses of the revealer.
布特曼有留意到呢一個敘述裏面一啲嘅唔流暢嘅地方，特別係經文裏面有一啲好似有張力嘅地方，所以佢提出咗一個好有名嘅理論，就話福音書首先咧係一個嘅神蹟故事嘅集成。呢一個嘅所謂標誌或者記號嘅資料，然後咧再加上後期一啲呢個啟示者嘅論述嘅記載。
The miracle stories celebrated the power of a divine man. The discourses celebrated the message of a Gnostic revealer. which in Bultmann's construal was simply that the revealer was the revealer.
呢一個嘅神蹟故事，佢凸顯神人嗰種能力，而呢一個嘅論述就係講出咗呢個啟示者嘅信息。喺呢一個布特曼佢嘅解説或者佢嘅建構裏邊咧，呢一個嘅啟示者咧，其實就係獨一無二嗰一位嘅啟示。
Finally, according to Bultmann, an ecclesiastical redactor made the somewhat odd gospel at home in the developing world of early Christianity by adding touches, such as the conclusion to the Bread of Life discourse in John 6:51-58, which introduced notions of sacramental practice, or brief references such as John 5:24-25, which insisted on a future eschatology, a future resurrection of the dead.
最後，布特曼認為有一個嘅嚟自教會嘅編修者，就將呢一個嘅福音書最後放喺一個發展緊嘅早期基督教裏邊，嚟到作為一個總結，加上一啲部分，例如呢一個6章51-58節呢個生命嘅糧呢個嘅論述啦，裏邊講到一啲聖禮嘅做法啦。然後又有一啲好簡約嘅部分，譬如喺約翰福音第5章24-25節裏邊咧，係強調呢一個嘅將來嘅末世。
Bultmann's theory also suggested that the redactional process involved displacement of the order of many of the Gospels pericopes, which he happily restored to their rightful place.
布特曼嘅理論亦都提出就話咧，喺呢個編修嘅過程裏邊咧，亦都造成咗喺福音書嘅裏邊有好多單元其實係錯字嘅，所以咧布特曼好樂意咧就將呢啲嘅錯誤咧嚟修正。
Final prayer of Jesus, for instance, should come according to Bultmann's reconstruction, not in John 17 at the end of the last seven discourses, but before chapter 13 at the beginning of that set of discourses.
例如耶穌最後嘅禱告，布特曼就認為咧唔應該係喺第17章出現嘅，應該喺呢一個最後食飯嗰個論述之後，即係話喺第13章之後就開始。
I need not rehearse the various theories that follow Bultmann's attempt to reconstruct the literary history of the text.
呢度咧，我無需複述好多跟隨布特曼嘅睇法嘅人佢哋所建構經文嘅歷史。
Some involve theories of an earlier source, some have focused on the possibility that a single author or school might have reworked a primitive composition.
呢啲唔同嘅跟隨者有啲會提出有一個更加早期嘅材料咧，亦都咧有人提出咧就話唔係一個作者嘅，而一個學校嘅，或者有一班人去到編修整個作品。
Such theories are not artifacts of the past, but continue to be advanced by serious scholars.
呢啲嘅理論咧唔係過往嘅產物，其實係一啲好有心嘅學者佢哋繼續提出嘅理論。
And the most recent is by an American scholar, Cameron von Valle, who posits a three-stage development of the gospel.
而呢個最近嘅一個係一個美國學者呢一個範蘭嚟，佢提出一個3個階段嘅發展。
Some such literary archaeology, of course, can be useful in reconstructing the social history of the Johannine community, but it does involve attention to particular literary forms.
呢啲咁樣嘅近似文學考古學嘅做法，當然咧係可以幫助我哋重建約翰群體嗰個社會嘅歷史啦。亦都有啲時候咧會留意到裏邊有啲個文學嘅形式。
Bultmann's isolation of miracle stories and revealed discourses reflected his own attention to the forms in which other gospel materials were transmitted in the oral traditions of the early Christian movement. But like his earlier work, attention to these forms within the text offers an account of some of the trees, but tends to ignore the forest.
布特曼佢凸顯呢一個嘅神蹟故事或者呢一個嘅啟示者嘅論述，反映咗咧佢有留意其他福音書裏邊所流傳嘅形式，特別係喺呢一個口傳嘅階段所流傳嘅形式。但係好似布特曼早期嘅作品一樣，佢留意呢啲嘅形式嘅時候咧，往往就只係見樹，就見唔到整個嘅生活。
Attempts to trace the literary history of the gospel, like the other attempts to situate the text, socially or historically or religio-historically, all have made contributions to our understanding of the gospel.
嘗試將呢一個嘅追溯呢一個福音書個文學歷史，就好似其他去到將福音書擺喺歷史嘅處境裏面理解一樣，係可以幫助我哋明白部分福音書嘅情況。
It is undeniable that the text offers evidence of development over time, and we would be foolish to deny that process.
我哋唔可以否認就係話呢個經文反映咗時代嗰個變遷。但係我哋如果係要否認呢個睇法咧，咁我哋就係過分嘅愚昧。
For instance, the pericope of the adulteress in chapter 8 is clearly a later addition to the gospel, as attested both by manuscript evidence and by patristic testimonies.
舉一個例，呢個淫婦嘅單元喺第8章，好明顯咧就係一個後期加上嘅部分，而呢一個嘅講法咧，其實係有經抄本嘅證據同埋呢個教父嘅見證咧嚟去支持。
Chapter 21, whatever its relationship with the rest of the gospel, has the feel of an appendix or an epilogue, coming as it does after the formal conclusion of the narrative at the end of chapter 20.
又例如第21章，無論佢同整個福音書個關係係點樣，都俾人有一個附錄或者後記嘅感覺，好似係喺第20章已經嘅有結束嘅裏面咧，嚟到再加上一個部分嘅。
In addition to these most obvious additional elements, the final chapters of the Last Supper discourses, John 15 through 17, have long been suspected of being a secondary addition.
除咗呢兩個嘅例子之外咧，呢一個最後晚餐嘅論述，特別係第15到第17章，亦都咧係俾人哋覺得係後期加上嘅部分。
They seem to repeat much of what has already been said in chapter 14, and they interrupt the smooth flow from the call of Jesus to leave the upper room at the end of chapter 14 and the movement to the Garden of Gethsemane in chapter 18.
佢哋似乎咧係重複咗，即係第12至第17章，重複咗第14章所講嘅説話。同一個時間咧，佢又打斷咗耶穌基督喺之前話要離開啦，第14章結束嘅時候，同埋咧呢一個第18章呢一個客西馬尼園嗰一個嘅故事。
These and other literary scenes are clear enough. In any interpretation of the gospel needs to offer some explanation of what they are doing there.
呢個同埋呢啲咁樣嘅文學層係好明顯嘅，而其他嘅即係福音書嘅解説咧，都好似係需要我哋留意。
But what sort of explanation will that be?
咁但係我哋要點樣嚟到進行解釋咧？
Before addressing particular issues, we need to take notice of the major shift that has occurred in Johannine studies. What the title of this paper describes as the literary turn.
喺我哋嚟講個別嘅議題或者個別嘅主題嘅時候，我哋需要留意下喺近年約翰福音研究嘅轉移，亦都係呢一次講座嗰個嘅題目提到嘅文學轉移。
Although there are many earlier hints of the shift, a major indication of what might justly be called a paradigm alteration in the study of the gospel was marked by the work of Alan Culpepper, Anatomy of the Fourth Gospel.
雖然咧好早期已經有一啲嘅咁樣嘅跡象會有咁樣嘅轉變，但係咧最主要嗰個嘅標記呢種嘅轉移嘅出現咧係一個叫做柯亞倫佢所寫嘅第4福音剖析呢個作品。
Culpepper insisted that efforts to interpret the gospel can benefit significantly from attention to the ways in which the gospel works as a piece of literature.
因為柯亞倫特別堅持嘅話咧，我哋如果係按照文學嚟到睇福音書咧，我哋會理解佢多好多。
It is quite obviously a narrative, and the features that make it so merit analysis.
好明顯，福音書係一個敘事，而敘事文佢裏邊嗰種嘅特色，值得我哋去留心研究。
The narration involves a plot and the presentation of various characters who dramatically interact.
呢一個敘事文必須有一個嘅情節，同埋交代唔同嘅人物喺裏邊點樣嚟穿插互動。
In the gospel, we hear the voice of a narrator who explains things for the implied reader and announces what it is hoped the reader will take from the text.
喺呢個福音書裏邊，我哋都聽到一個講故事嘅人嘅聲音，佢為聽呢個故事嘅人解説，使佢哋知道期望讀者應該明白一啲乜嘢。
Besides its obvious structural elements, the narrative has certain pervasive qualities. Its use of irony, for instance, and its reliance on symbolism.
除咗呢個好明顯嘅結構嘅元素，敘事文亦都有一啲好廣泛嘅特色，譬如呢個諷刺嘅使用啦，同埋佢依靠好多好豐富嘅象徵。
Attending to all these features has yielded new insights, and at the same time, offers new paths of inquiry for the pursuit of the context of the gospel.
留意所有呢啲嘅元素，呢啲嘅特色，係幫助我哋有新嘅發現，而同一個時間亦都讓我哋揾到另外一條路去到睇呢一個福音書嘅處境。
Much of my work on the gospel in recent years has operated within this literary framework.
近年我喺呢方面嘅研究都係根據呢個咁樣嘅文學架構嚟到進行。
Well, I don't want to deny the possibility of redactional activity or a lengthy process of rewriting and the production of the gospel. What is of greatest significance is the final or close to final product, which I take to include chapter 21, although not the periphery of the adulterous.
我唔會否認咧，喺呢一個嘅作品成書嘅時候會有編修嘅活動，或者有好長期嘅一啲嘅重寫嘅部分。但係最值得佢哋留意係嗰個最後嘅成果。呢一個咧我睇嚟係包括第21章，但係就唔包括呢個淫婦嗰個單。
What I'd like to do in the rest of today's lecture is to illustrate three features of the literary approach to the text. In subsequent lectures, I'll explore some historical and theological implications of this approach.
今日我想講一講即係呢一個文學手法嘅三個特色。喺後邊禮拜日嘅時間，我會再解釋佢嘅歷史同埋神學嘅含義。
If the fourth gospel is a narrative, as indeed it is, we might first ask whether we can be more specific about the kind of narrative that it is.
假如第四福音書係一個敘事文，我哋係咪可以進一步問好具體嘅問，到底佢係點嘅一種嘅敘事文呢？
The question arises in part from another perennial concern raised by the gospel, the fact that there are three other narratives that bear the name of gospel.
呢個問題嘅出現部分係因為有另外一個持續嘅關注，呢個關注係由其他嘅福音書引發，就係話除咗第四福音書之外，另外有3個嘅敘事文都係用福音呢個名嘅。
The relationship between the gospel according to John and these other texts has long been debated.
第四福音嗰個同埋呢一個嘅其他福音嗰個關係，其實長久以來都有人喺度討論。
At one level, John looks much like them, especially like the gospel according to Mark.
喺一個層面嚟去睇，約翰同埋其他嘅福音書都係好似嘅，譬如呢個馬可福音。
The similarity consists in the fact that all offer a story, a narrative of the deeds and teachings of Jesus, culminating in his execution in Jerusalem in the time of the prefect Pontius Pilate. But beyond that, there are as many differences as similarities.
佢相同嘅地方有呢一個就係好明顯，就話幾個故事都係講耶穌基督嘅言行，最後係講耶穌基督喺呢一個巡撫比拉多嘅手下喺耶路撒冷被處決。但係在此以後咧，或者在此以外咧，佢有好多嘅地方又唔係一樣。
And while the other three synoptic gospels share many details about narrative and teaching in common, the Gospel of John in many ways stands apart.
呢3個所謂對觀福音有好多嘅地方都係好相似，大家都係好似共通。但係約翰福音喺好多方面嚟睇，又係自成一格。
Time does not permit a detailed examination of the relationship between John and the synoptics.
我哋冇時間咧細心嚟去研究分析呢一個約翰同埋對觀福音嘅關係。
Let me summarize my own position and think about the implications for our literary analysis.
讓我簡單介紹我嘅立場，同埋咧講呢一個對呢個文學分析嗰個含義。
The Gospel of John clearly does not depend in any slavish way on the narratives of the other Gospels that we have.
約翰福音好清楚，冇盲目嘅追隨其他福音書佢嗰種講嘅故事方法。
It does, however, display evidence of knowledge of some of those Gospels, particularly Mark and Luke.
約翰好明顯咧，佢係認識一啲嘅其他嘅福音，特別係呢個馬可同埋路加。
The fourth Gospel knows the other Gospels, I believe, but chooses to go its own way in telling the story of Jesus.
我相信第四福音咧係認識其他福音書嘅，但係佢係選擇用佢自己嘅方式嚟到講説耶穌嘅故事。
The path that it chooses is distinctive, and in overall terms, it is identifiable.
約翰所走嘅路係好鮮明嘅，亦都喺整體嚟講係話可以係識。
The evangelist has chosen to present his story of Jesus in the guise of a drama.
呢一個約翰福音嘅作者選擇以戲劇嘅形式嚟到交代耶穌嘅故事。
I have used this term casually earlier in this talk, but now I want to use it quite deliberately, and it will have implications for our overall interpretation of the text, for our quest for its narrative rhetoric.
我初時係隨意嘅嚟到使用呢一個咁樣嘅講法，而家我想更加刻意嘅同埋咧講呢一種嘅講法，佢對於我哋研究呢個經文嗰個意義。
While much more could be said about the topic, let me highlight four elements of the text that I think are especially characteristic of the dramatic genre.
要講嘅嘢其實好多，不過我想特別突顯經文裏面四個嘅元素。
The first is the prologue, with its cadence celebration of the primordial divine word made flesh.
第一個就係佢嘅前言，佢裏邊嗰種抑揚頓挫嘅講述方式，講到呢一個起初呢一個神道成為肉身。
This introduction of the gospel is unlike anything in Mark or Matthew.
呢一種起頭嘅方式咧，係馬可同埋馬太冇嘅。
It has a parallel in the prefaces to the Gospel of Luke and the Book of Acts.
佢路加同埋使徒行傳有近似嘅一個嘅前言。
But apart from the similarity in the general function of introducing their respective works, the prefaces to the two Lucan volumes are markedly different from the prologue of John.
雖然喺個功能上面好似相似，都係介紹佢嘅作品，但係路加嘅前言同埋呢一個第四福音嘅前言咧係好明顯啦。
Luke's prefaces are prosaic and a somewhat apologetic appeal to the reader, quite similar to what one finds in works of historiography and in specialized technical prose literature.
路加嘅前言係散文嚟嘅，亦都帶有一種衛道嘅一種嘅意識，就好近似你讀當時嘅一啲嘅歷史作品，同埋特別係一啲專門嘅散文學嘅作品都會有嘅發現。
John's prologue, with its quasi-poetic form, hints at many of the themes that will appear in the symbolism of the gospel: the contrast between light and darkness, the relationship between Father and Son, the stark juxtaposition of those who accept the word and those who do not, the contrast between what Jesus offers and what Moses provided, the emphasis on the presence of the Word in flesh, and the resultant experience of seeing and understanding that flows from the encounter with that Word.
約翰嘅前言有嗰種近似詩歌嘅形態，裏邊提到好多喺整個福音書都會見得到嘅一啲嘅主題，包括咗光暗對比、父子嘅關係、接受道同埋唔接受道嘅人嗰種強烈嘅對比，呢一個耶穌同埋摩西嗰個嘅分別，強調呢個道成為肉身，同埋人睇到同埋明白呢一個道嗰個關係。
The prologue, as we have it, is not an afterthought, not a secondary and casual addition to the gospel.
呢一個前言唔係一個事後諗出嚟嘅結果，唔係後期嘅附加嘅部分。
It belongs where it sits, at the beginning of the complex gospel that we now have.
佢係一起初就喺度，我哋呢一個好複雜嘅福音書嘅起初嘅部分。
In that position, it functions, as does in the technical term, hypothesis of a Greek drama, the prefatory passage that tells the audience what they will encounter in the acts that follow.
呢種咁樣嘅安排，有一種嘅味道，好似我哋中國戲裏邊嘅戲橋，介紹讀者或者聽眾或者觀眾去認識佢哋喺戲裏邊會睇到、會遇到嘅事情。
Unlike any of the other Gospels, the fourth Gospel begins as a drama.
同其他福音書唔同，第四福音書係好似一個嘅戲劇開始。
Whether we want to think of it as a tragedy or a comedy or something in between, we shall have to decide later in our discussion. But that its opening is dramatic in many senses of the word is clear.
到底呢個戲劇係一個悲劇啊，係一個喜劇啊，亦都係即係兩者之間嘅咧，我哋後來可以再討論。但係佢呢一個起頭係好有戲劇性咧，呢個係好清楚。
If we want to understand the narrative rhetoric of the gospel, the goal of these lectures, we need to attend to the drama of the gospel.
如果我哋要明白福音書嘅敘事修辭，就係呢一個嘅講座嗰個嘅目標，我哋就必須留意呢一個福音書嗰個嘅戲劇性。
The second major dramatic feature to which I want to call attention has received considerable attention in recent decades. That is the irony that pervades the narrative.
另外一個第二個好主要嘅一個戲劇嘅特色係近年好受人注意嘅，就係整個書充滿咗嘅諷刺。
Irony, in fact, comes in many forms in the gospel, and we shall have occasion to return to that fact later this week. But the first and most obvious bit of irony that we need to recognize is what is usually called dramatic irony.
諷刺喺呢個福音書裏邊咧有好多唔同嘅形式，我哋咧喺第日有機會再翻嚟再睇。但係最主要或者最明顯嘅一種嘅諷刺，就係一種所謂戲劇性嘅諷刺。
Irony in general is the linguistic act of saying one thing and meaning another, quite the opposite.
諷刺嘅一般嘅理解就係話，我哋講一句説話，表面有一個意思，實質係另外一個意思。
Dramatic irony is the kind of irony that occurs on stage, when a character says something that is very true, but does not realize it, while the audience does.
呢個戲劇性嘅諷刺咧，就係一種喺舞台上面出現嘅諷刺。呢一個嘅舞台上面嘅人物，佢會講一啲好真實嘅嘢，但係佢自己似乎唔知嘅。不過觀眾咧係明白嘅。
Or a character may deny the truth of something that the audience knows to be true.
又或者呢個人物佢會否定一啲嘅真理，但係呢一啲嘅觀眾會知道佢所否定嘅其實係真嘅。
The dramatist and his audience, in effect, share a secret of which the characters in the drama are unaware.
即係話呢個劇作家同埋觀眾實質上面係認識一種嘅秘密，而呢個秘密咧喺台上面嘅人物咧似乎係唔意識到。
One of the best examples of dramatic irony from the world of antiquity is found in the Bacchae of Euripides.
一個好有名嘅一個例子去到講到呢種戲劇性嘅諷刺咧，係呢一個上古世界呢一個嘅歐利比得斯佢所作嘅一個嘅作品，叫做《酒神信女》。
That play of the late 5th century BCE tells of the interaction between the Greek god Dionysus, King Pentheus of Thebes, and the mother of Pentheus, Agave.
呢一個喺公元前第5世紀寫成嘅戲咧，講到呢一個希臘嘅神奇迪奧尼西奧斯同埋呢一個底比斯王潘修斯同埋佢嘅母親亞加佢哋之間嘅關係。
Dionysus, like Jesus in the fourth gospel, walks on earth in human form, unrecognized, as his worship enters the land of Thebes and gains the attention of Agave, her daughters and friends.
呢一個希臘嘅神迪奧尼西奧斯，好似第四福音嘅耶穌一樣，喺地上面行走，有着人嘅外貌，但係人係唔認識佢嘅。啲人對佢嘅崇拜開始進入到呢一個底比斯嘅地方，亦都得到呢一個嘅我哋叫做太后啦，即係亞加佢嗰個嘅接納，仲有佢嘅女同埋佢嘅朋友嗰個嘅歡迎。
Pentheus, interacts with the unrecognized Dionysus in an effort to halt the spread of his cult.
呢一個底比斯王潘修斯就同呢一個佢唔認識佢身份嘅迪奧尼西奧斯咧嚟到傾偈，特別咧係提到佢想壓止呢一種咁樣嘅崇拜嘅散播。
In the process, Pentheus says much about Dionysus that is, as the audience knows, true, although he knows it not.
喺呢個傾偈嘅過程裏邊咧，呢個潘修斯咧就講到好多關於呢一個迪奧尼西奧斯嘅事，呢啲都係啱嘅，係正確嘅。但係呢一個潘修斯自己咧卻唔知道。
His resistance to the power of God comes to a bad end when he is torn apart by Agave and her companions in a Dionysiac frenzy.
呢個潘修斯抗拒呢一個神能嘅行為咧，就招到唔好嘅下場。佢最尾咧係俾呢一個嘅母親阿加同埋佢嘅同伴喺呢一個行業嘅裏邊咧嚟到施業。
The characters who interact with Jesus in the pages of the fourth gospel bear a strong resemblance to Pentheus, resisting the presence of the divine in their midst, denying truths that the audience knows, in forms such as, one cannot be born again, unoffended from above, or is he making himself equal to God? Or, when the Messiah comes, we will not know where he is from. Or, in the words of Caiaphas, it is expedient for one man to die for the sake of the people. Or, in the words of his disciples, is he going to the Greeks?
呢一個第四福音書裏邊，耶穌同埋周圍嘅人物嗰個嘅互動或者嗰個交往，都有着好強烈嘅相似嘅地方，同呢個潘修斯好相似。呢一個人抗拒神喺佢哋中間行走嘅現實，否認一啲讀者或者觀眾或者讀者知道係真嘅真理。譬如人會話人豈能重生？佢係咪將自己看為與神同等？或者話當彌賽亞嚟嘅時候，我哋都唔知佢喺邊度嚟嘅。一個人為眾人死係應當嘅，或者佢係咪去希臘人嗰度咧？
In addition to the dramatic irony of the narrative, another irony governs the very structure of the Gospel's climax.
另外，除咗呢一個戲劇性嘅諷刺之外咧，另外一種嘅諷刺咧，亦都係影響緊呢一個嘅福音書嗰個高潮。
The ironic claim, already mentioned, and familiar to anyone who has read the Gospel even once, is that being lifted up, Greek krusano, that is, on the shameful tree of the cross, Jesus is lifted up in glory, Greek doxazo, a mysterious glory that is alluring and compelling.
呢一個諷刺嘅宣稱咧，好多讀福音書嘅人都留意得到嘅，就係呢一個被舉起，同埋耶穌基督喺呢個被舉起係講佢喺十字架上邊嗰個樹嘅木頭上面羞辱死亡啦，同埋耶穌被抬舉、被高舉得榮耀呢一種嘅講法。
But we shall return to that point as we explore the Gospel's narrative rhetoric. For the moment, I simply want to note that irony is not a casual literary device embellishing the dramatic encounters that pervade the Gospel. It's a conceptual device at the heart of the dramatic narrative.
我哋遲啲會翻嚟再細心去研究講講福音書嗰種敘事裏邊嘅修辭。但喺呢一刻，我想只係簡單嘅提出就話，諷刺唔係一種好隨意嘅文學手法，只係為咗認識一下呢一個戲劇裏邊人與人之間嗰種嘅交往。其實佢係一種有意嘅設計，係整個戲劇嘅敘述好重要嘅部分。
So far, we've been exploring ways in which the fourth Gospel displays technical dramatic features, and both the prologue as hypothesis and the pervasive irony are very much at home in ancient drama.
我哋咧先前所講嘅咧係講緊一啲第四福音佢所表現嘅表露嘅一啲專門嘅戲劇嘅成分，譬如呢一個前言好似戲橋啦，呢一個嘅廣泛運用嘅諷刺呢個咁嘅手法咧。
A third, relatively minor element surfaces in an unexpected place and in fact solves a problem that many And this is the device of the delayed exit.
另外一個咧就比較好似係唔係咁起眼嘅元素咧，卻喺一啲我哋意想唔到嘅地方咧嚟到出現，而呢啲嘅出現咧又解開咗一啲現代嘅讀者讀呢個經文嘅時候有嘅一啲嘅問題。
This is a feature of the Last Supper discourses pointed out by one of my students at Yale, George Rossini, is now at the faculty of Princeton Theological Seminary.
呢一種嘅手法就係一種所謂叫做延後嘅離場咯。呢一種嘅特色係喺呢一個最後晚餐嘅論述裏面咧係出現嘅。而呢一個現象咧，我喺耶魯一個學生柏親尼，佢而家已經喺呢一個本羅斯敦神院啦，咁咧佢提出嘅一個嘅講法。
In my brief earlier discussion of the features of the text that have led many readers to entertain theories about the chronological development of the gospel, I alluded to the complexity of the final discourses of Jesus.
之前我簡略嘅提到關乎呢一個嘅文本，好多人去到揾呢一個嘅福音書個歷史發展、時代嘅發展嘅時候，我提到呢一個最後嘅論述係其實好複雜嘅一個現象。
The conversation seems to reach a conclusion at the end of chapter 14.
呢一個嘅論述咧，似乎到第14章已經結束。
Jesus has given an example of loving service by washing the feet of his disciples. He has given the new commandment to love, and he has promised the sending of the Paraclete.
耶穌基督以身作則，為門徒洗腳，留下咗一個服侍嘅榜樣。佢又俾咗命令，一個新嘅誡命，要門徒去愛彼此相愛。佢又應許呢一個保惠師會來臨。
At the end of the chapter, he tells his disciples that it is time to get up and go. And the movement to Gethsemane in chapter 18 seems to follow quite naturally on the injunction to get going.
喺呢個講論結束嘅時候咧，佢同佢嘅門徒話：我哋係時候起來，我哋繼續前行。而第18章裏邊喺呢個園子裏邊嘅發生嘅事咧，似乎係好自然就接續第14章呢一個咁樣嘅講法。
Instead of that smooth connection, however, Jesus talks for another 3 chapters, telling the parable of the vine and the branches.
但係好奇怪就係耶穌冇即時履行，佢又坐低講咗3章嘅經文，講到呢一個葡萄樹與枝子嘅比喻啦。
He repeats the promise of the Paraclete, warns his disciples of the world's hatred, and finally offers a prayer for the sanctification of the disciples through the name that he has given them.
佢又重複翻呢一個保惠師要降臨嘅應許，又預備門徒面對世界嗰種嘅憎恨。最後佢又為門徒得着聖化，透過佢嘅提出嘅名字嚟到禱告。
All of this material is important for the ultimate claims made by the gospel. But is it just an afterthought or a secondary addition?
呢啲嘅材料對於我哋理解福音書嗰個最後嗰個宣稱都係有關係。但係問題係呢啲嘅材料係咪只不過係後話，係後來先至加上嘅部分呢？
Whatever its place in the history of the gospel's composition, it is finally the function of this product material that deserves our attention.
無論呢一個嘅部分喺成個福音書嘅創作嘅歷史裏邊，佢有啲咩嘅地位，但係呢個部分嘅功用卻好值得我哋嚟到留意。
That function is precisely analogous to a phenomenon frequently encountered in ancient drama, both Greek and Roman, the delayed exit of a major character from the stage.
呢一個功能咧，正咧就同好多古時嘅戲劇，無論係希臘或者羅馬嘅戲劇，我哋都會見到嘅一個現象，就係呢一個主要嘅人物延遲離開嗰個舞台，呢一個咁樣嘅歷史。
Such delayed exits usually take place when a leading character is on the verge of death, which usually will take place off stage.
呢一個延遲離場通常出現係嗰個主角就快要死，而呢一個主角一死嘅時候咧，佢就會離開舞台。
With death or departure imminent, the character will gesture toward that conclusion, but then pause and go on for some time, often offering reflections, often very long reflections, on the significance of the coming separation. What happens in John 15 through 17 is of a piece with that technique.
當呢個主角就快要死或者離開嘅時候咧，呢一個人物咧其實就係走向呢個結局。不過佢又同時咧就停一停，再繼續嚟到反思一下或者講述佢將要離開嗰個意義。呢個正正咧就係約翰福音第15至17章我哋見到嘅手法。
In making this observation, I don't want to suggest that ancient drama is the only literary genre with significant parallels to the Last Supper discourses in the Fourth Gospel.
我提出呢個咁樣嘅觀察咧，無意嚟到認為古代嘅戲劇係唯一一種文學嘅題材，可以我哋同呢一個第四福音裏邊最後晚餐嘅論述相比。
No, our creative author here and elsewhere combines features of a wide variety of literary types, including testaments of patriarchs about to depart, philosophical or rhetorical messages of consolation regarding death, and even symposia or supper discourses, which focus on such important topics as love.
我哋福音書嘅作者好有創意嘅，佢其實係可以結合咗好多唔同嘅類型嘅特色，好多唔同類型嘅文學。包括咗呢一個族長將要離世佢嘅遺命啦，一啲關乎到死亡嘅哲學同埋呢一個修辭嘅信息啦，仲有呢一個甚至包括酒會或者最後晚餐嗰種論述，談到愛呢個咁樣嘅主題。
Elements of all of these genres are at work in John 13 through 17. My point here is that dramatic devices are a part, indeed a very important part of the mix.
所有呢啲嘅題材咧，都可能喺約翰福音第13至17章裏邊咧嚟到同時係使用嘅。但係我想講嘅係呢一個戲劇係整個嘅手法裏邊嘅一部分。
In conclusion, I want to call attention to one fourth and final dramatic device, to which we shall have to return in subsequent lectures.
將要結束嘅時候，我想再提第4樣呢一個戲劇嘅手法。
As I suggested in passing, the fourth gospel can be construed as a series of dramatic encounters or interactions between Jesus and various interlocutors, some positive, some negative.
呢一個手法咧，我遲啲會再繼續講嘅。我先前都兩個提過，就第四福音係一連串嘅戲劇性嘅相遇或者互動。耶穌同唔同嘅人對話，有一啲咧係正面嘅，有一啲係負面嘅。
A device that appears in several of these encounters is another standard part of the dramatist's toolkit, the recognition scene.
另外一個喺好多呢啲嘅相遇或者呢啲嘅對話嘅裏邊咧，我哋會睇到另外一種戲劇常有嘅手法，就係呢個雙搖嘅音樂。
This device and its importance for the fourth gospel has been creatively explored by a young Danish scholar, Asger Brill Larsen.
呢一種嘅手法咧，同埋佢對第四福音書嗰個意義咧，係由一位好年輕嘅丹麥學者呢個拉神提出嚟。
Three brief examples related to any reader of the text will suffice to make the point.
三個好短嘅例子足以説明呢一個嘅現象。
The Samaritan woman in John 4, through her dialogue with Jesus, comes to recognize that he might indeed be the Messiah.
喺第4章，撒瑪利亞婦人透過佢同耶穌嘅對話，佢懷疑佢面前嘅係彌賽亞。
However tentative, she experiences a moment of recognition, what the Greeks would call anagnosis.
無論係幾咁初步都好咧，佢係經驗咗一個認識嘅時刻，呢個希臘嘅 anagnosis。
Mary Magdalene in chapter 20, weeping at the entrance to the empty tomb and wondering what has become of the body of Jesus, recognizes at the sound of his voice calling her name that her beloved Lord is there present with her.
呢一個抹大拉嘅瑪利亞喺呢一個墓前，呢個空墳墓嘅前面喊嘅時候，佢唔知道耶穌嘅身體俾人拎咗去邊度，但當佢聽到呢一個聲音呼喚佢名字嘅時候，佢認出係佢所愛嘅主。
She too, at that verbal signal, experiences a moment of recognition of Anagnorisis.
佢仲有喺嗰個時刻有一個相遇一個認識。
Thomas, the famous doubter, comes to faith through another very tangible sign, the wounded body of the resurrected one.
呢個當下一個好有名嘅懷疑主義者，佢同樣因為見到有形嘅呢一個嘅記號，耶穌呢個復活者嗰個受傷嘅身體，佢重拾信心。
His confrontation with that reality enables him to confess his recognition in the famous outcry, "My Lord and my God."
佢睇見呢一個現實，亦都幫助佢嚟到得着重新嘅同主相認，所以佢好有名嘅就係我的主，我的神。
These particular dramatic encounters use a tried and true literary device very much at home on the ancient stage.
呢啲戲劇化嘅相遇所用嘅都係一啲已經有好耐歷史嘅一啲嘅手法。
Recall, for example, Oedipus Rex, which Aristotle thought to be tragedy at its best.
譬如我哋會諗起呢一個嘅奧狄浦斯王佢嘅故事，而呢個亞里士多德就認為呢個係一個最佳嘅悲劇。
The plot of that work hinges on Oedipus coming to know the truth of who he really is, a truth that in his case has devastating effects.
而呢一個嘅奧狄浦斯王呢一個故事嘅情節，最關鍵在於奧狄浦斯佢知道自己身上嘅真世身世嘅真相之後，就帶嚟咗非常悲慘嘅結果。
In the dramatic encounters of the Gospel involving some form of anagnorisis or recognition, I suggest that we find encapsulated the narrative rhetoric of the Gospel as a whole.
喺呢一個福音書裏邊，呢啲嘅戲劇化嘅相遇裏邊，所包含嘅呢一種相認或者重大嘅認識嘅元素，我認為我哋可以揾到整個福音書佢敘述修辭嘅橋段。
We've begun to explore that rhetoric, highlighted by the literary return of recent Johannine scholarship. We'll explore it further in upcoming lectures.
我哋今日探討呢一個嘅修辭，咁特別係透過呢一個約翰福音嘅學術研究嘅歷史嘅轉移，我哋要睇呢件事。咁我哋禮拜日我哋會再詳細嘅討論呢方面嘅情況。
Thank you for your attention.
作為新約嘅晚輩，再一次多謝艾教授嘅講座。咁咧就係非常之欣賞同埋係即係好獲益良多。咁咧其中一點咧就係當我諗緊咧，如果將來教呢個約翰著作嘅時候咧，即係我相信咧呢一系列嘅傳經講座，特別關乎呢個約翰福音嘅咧，一定會用喺指定嘅教科書同埋嚟啊。咁呢個就表明我對佢嘅欣賞啦。咁咧，但係作為一個後輩咧，相信都要係喺呢個傳經講座嘅 context 底下咧，都要喺雞蛋裏面挑骨頭嚇。咁咧就係即係特別咧係為到同學們咧係即係再深刻咁去思考呢個課題咧，要提出呢個問題嘅。好啦，咁咧第一方面嚟到講咧，我好想咧即係艾教授咧再一次嚟到澄清喺呢個題目上面咧，佢叫做第一講咧叫做文學嘅轉向啦。咁如果從一個研究歷史嘅角度嚟講咧，我哋必須要進一步去澄清咧呢個所謂嘅文學轉向嘅意思究竟係乜嘢？因為當轉向嘅時候咧，就含義住一樣嘢咧，就由某一種方向就轉向另一種嘅方向。換句話嚟講咧，由某一樣嘅東西轉向另一樣嘅東西。而喺第10頁嘅時候咧，艾教授更加係用到咧呢個典範轉移呢個 paradigm shift 嘅呢一個詞㗎。咁咧當然咧喺艾教授成個文章裏面咧20頁嘅文章，佢頭嗰9頁咧，其實咧都係介紹咧呢一個嘅第4福音書裏面嗰個歷史批判進路嘅研究史，或者係呢個所謂嘅叫處境化嘅詮釋。咁當中就提及咗咧，即係3種係關乎歷史宗教學嘅即係研究進路啦，同埋2種咧係社會科學嘅即係批判嘅方式。咁咧，然之後咧喺第9頁嘅尾到10頁嘅尾咧，佢大用咗3頁紙嘅時間咧，係講咧關乎呢一個所謂文學考古學第11頁裏面所提及到嘅呢個 Goodman 嘅方式。咁 咁咧，然之後咧喺第12頁嘅時候咧，佢就提及到呢個字眼就係呢個文學轉向 literary turn 同埋呢個 paradigm shift。跟住接住咧佢就引用呢個1983年呢個柯亞龍嘅呢一篇嘅即係呢一本嘅書，然之後咧成個嘅文章餘下落嚟嘅部分咧都可以話呢個柯亞龍嘅呢一篇文嘅一個嘅影響嘅歷史。咁所以嚟到講咧，我哋必須要問啊，究竟艾教授所講嘅呢個 paradigm shift 係咪其實咧係指向緊咧由歷史批判嘅典範第9頁用嘅字眼 historical critical paradigm 轉向成為一種文學嘅典範咧？如果係呢一種嘅轉向係指呢一樣嘢嘅話咧，似乎咧喺近代嘅呢個學術研究咧並唔完全反映呢一個嘅情況，因為咧喺近代嘅呢一個研究裏面咧，呢一個所謂嘅歷史批判嘅進路或者你社會歷史嘅方法嚟到講咧，仍然係如日方中，仍然係非常之即係有好豐富嘅呢一個嘅討論㗎。但係如果咧艾教授所講嘅呢個典範轉移係指向緊咧由布特曼式嗰種對即係對呢個文本嘅文學歷史嘅重構嘅話咧，而邁向咧即係研究整個福音書係睇為一個整體嘅文學嘅話咧，咁我相信咧呢一種咁樣嘅講法咧就係比較係合宜㗎。咁咧而係咁但係咧，如果係咁樣講嘅話咧，我哋仍然要去提問，究竟咧艾教授喺前頭嗰9頁嘅即係紙裏面所講呢個歷史批判嘅進路咧，即係究竟喺成篇文章裏面嘅功能同埋必須性咧，我哋仍然需要問呢一個嘅問題㗎。即係所以如果係咁嘅話咧，即係如果唔係佢澄清呢個問題嘅話咧，呢個所謂 literary turn 呢個文學轉向或者呢個 paradigm shift 呢個典範轉移咧，某個程度咧係有一個誤導性喺度㗎。咁第二方面咧，我哋需要問嘅問題咧，就係從方法論嘅角度去提問，究竟呢個文學轉向嘅含義究竟係乜嘢？文學轉向咧，可以有一種嘅意涵咧，係表示住咧，從一個歷史批判嘅呢個方法咧，已經係過時啦，同埋咧去理解呢個第4福音書嘅呢個方式咧，係唔恰當嘅。咁咧呢個可能咧，我哋在座嘅讀者，特別喺中國嘅即係香港嘅信徒嘅群體裏面咧，好容易會從呢個角度嚟到理解艾教授嗰個含義，而呢個含義可能艾教授本身自己未必係咁樣嚟到諗㗎，因為咧呢一個咧喺成篇文章裏面咧，我哋都睇到咧艾教授咧係好精確地、好準確地、好扼要地去即係用佢文章嘅前部分嚟到去欣賞咧整個歷史批判嘅方法嘅。某個程度嚟到講咧，艾教授咧係好準確咁去講，即係呢一個嘅歷史批判嘅方法咧，並唔能夠係處理晒咧，即係文本裏面咧所有嘅呢一個嘅即係嘅特徵。呢個第6頁講過，但係倒翻轉嚟到講咧，佢亦都提及到咧呢個無論係諾斯底嘅文獻啊，或者呢個希臘式嘅希臘化嘅一啲嘅文本啊，或者呢個嘅所謂嘅即係芬蘭社團嘅呢個嘅死海古卷嘅文獻咧，同呢個嘅約翰福音咧對讀嘅時候咧，佢哋之間確實咧亦都呈現咗約翰福音咧本身一啲嘅文學嘅特徵嘅。但係呢一種咁嘅講法咧，如果相對佢後來嘅講法，就係話咧，即係歷史批判嘅方法有一個前提，呢個前提咧就係話冇任何嘅 text 係 without a context， 冇任何嘅文本係冇處境嘅。但係呢個文學嘅進路咧，卻可以咧就係話佢更加留意個文本嘅本身。似乎咧，佢前面對歷史批判嘅欣賞同後來呢一種嘅，即係將呢兩種嘅方法嘅區分咧，其實咧有一種嘅似乎有一種矛盾嘅一種嘅指向，或者係講得唔夠清楚啦。如果從方法論上嘅角度嚟到睇嘅話咧，呢個文學嘅批判究竟同歷史批判之間嘅關係係乜嘢咧？艾教授嘅意思係咪表示係一種嘅替代咧？文學批判替代呢個歷史批判嘅方法咧，抑或其實佢兩種咧係互相嚟到去？即係應該係互相補充嘅方法嘅咧。咁咧，如果係咁咧，係咪佢哋兩者係處理緊即係個文本嘅唔同嘅層次，而唔係一種咧處境同文本嘅二分嘅方法咧？即係而特別咧，當我哋喺呢一個嘅中國嘅讀者嚟到理解第4福音書嘅時候咧，呢個澄清係好需要嘅，因為咧我哋喺中國嘅讀者群嚟講咧，就同西方嘅學者唔同，因為西方嘅學者們咧已經有好悠久嘅歷史咧，對呢個歷史嘅批判嘅方法咧嚟到去掌握嘅。但係咧，我哋由始至終咧，中國嘅教會界或者中國嘅學術界咧，由始至終咧，對呢個歷史批判嘅方法咧，都比較係抗拒嘅。即係所以，我哋係冇一個基礎完全去認識呢個歷史批判嘅方法，而喺呢個時候強調呢一個咁嘅詞彙嘅時候咧，可能咧就會係即係對我哋嘅中國嘅讀者群嚟到講咧，可能係未能夠全面欣賞呢個歷史批判嘅方法，已經轉向咗呢個文學嘅批判㗎啦。咁咧第三方面咧就係關乎到咧呢個所謂嘅約翰嘅著作咧，睇為一個嘅器 戲劇嘅時候咧一種處境化嘅思考。雖然咧佢強調咧呢個文學嘅進路咧唔一定係要即係考慮呢一個嘅 context， 但係其實咧我哋仍然係即係作為一個讀者嘅時候咧，我哋仍然會追問啊，究竟我哋讀呢一個文本嘅時候係咪真係可以完全忽略佢嘅處境嘅咧？究竟咧即係呢一個嘅一個嘅古代嘅戲劇式嘅文本咧，佢嘅形成係咪真係一個獨立自存嘅方式，而唔需要任何嘅一個處境嘅咧？其實咧，當我哋睇呢個約翰福音嘅前言嘅部分咧，即係第1章嘅1到18節啦，或者呢個約翰裡面嘅呢一個嘅諷刺嘅手法啦，或者佢裡面嘅嗰個嘅離別嘅一個論述啦，或者係裡面有好多相應嘅片段。其實呢啲等等嘅片段咧，當然可以用戲劇嘅方式嚟到去閱讀，但係同時間咧，亦都可以用其他嘅方式嚟到閱讀嘅。雖然咧，魏教授嘅方式咧係非常之係即係有啟迪性啦，等等即係有啟發性啊，又好有創意嘅。但係咧，我哋仍然要去問咧，呢個似乎咧並唔係話個好清晰咁樣講，呢個咧就係個文本嘅即係個事實上嘅特徵。而咧，我哋睇咧，其實佢嗰個嘅理解咧，只係一種嘅詮釋。除非咧，我哋要進一步去追問一啲嘅問題，就係究竟呢個福音書嘅作者，佢能唔能夠係即係我哋如何得知佢有一個嘅戲劇性嘅教育嘅背景咧？即係話咧，我哋有一啲嘅猶太式嘅文本喺當時第1世紀或者早期第2世紀，同樣都係好廣泛地可以被比較地，佢都係用一種戲劇嘅方式嚟到寫嘅。或者咧係呢個約翰嘅讀者群嚟講咧，佢可唔可能理解呢種福音書從戲劇嘅手法嚟到理解咧？或者係呢個嘅福音書嘅作者，當佢要展現耶穌喺一個戲劇嘅文本底下嘅時候咧，究竟佢嘅意圖係乜嘢咧？即係呢個嘅福音書作為一個嘅戲劇嘅時候，喺早期嘅基督教嚟講咧，嗰個嘅 setting 或者係嗰個 system language 究竟係點樣咧？呢度以下落嚟一個少少嘅即係補充一下係個即係個 text 冇嘅，就係咧特別喺呢個第16頁咧，即係當提到呢個歐里比德斯嘅嗰個嘅文本裏面咧，提到尼西即係提到尼西修斯同埋呢個潘修斯呢個故事，或者係第19頁嘅呢個亞里士多德嘅奧迪圖斯王嘅呢啲嘅事蹟咧，即係究竟我哋有冇證據知道咧喺呢個嘅第1世紀或者第2世紀初期嘅猶太嘅社群裏面咧，都廣泛嚟去認識呢一啲嘅文本，以至我哋知道咧，即係呢一個嘅戲劇式嘅閱讀咧係可能嘅咧。即係如果當我哋唔去回答呢啲問題嘅時候咧，任何一個批判性嘅讀者咧，都可能會有一個疑惑，就係呢種嘅戲劇式嘅閱讀第4福音書咧，會唔會係一種嘅偏頗嘅詮釋咧？咁最後一個嘅問題啦，就係咧，即係呢個嘅約翰福音咧，即係正如艾教授都提及，佢有2個嘅即係結束，其中一個即係20章同埋21章。咁我哋就好想去期待地去問。究竟咧，即係喺呢一個嘅艾教授好精彩地展示咗俾我哋睇，福音書嘅開頭同埋福音書嘅主要嘅內容咧，都通過嗰個4個嘅戲劇性嘅元素咧，係進行到解讀。但係咧，呢個嘅福音書裏面嘅呢個雙重嘅結尾咧，究竟又可唔可能咧，從呢個戲劇式嘅閱讀咧嚟到去進行呢個詮釋咧？究竟咧，佢係呢個雙重式嘅結尾係咪一個戲劇式嘅元素，或者呢個約翰呢一種嘅特色咧，同古時候嘅戲劇咧，有冇一個可以話係吻合嘅現象咧？咁咧，所以呢個係大約咧我呢4